Let's bring in Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary and a Fox News contributor. Ari, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, where do we begin? You've been listening to the show. You've been following the news this morning. It's a tough moment right now.
Yeah, there's just so much going on in Washington and the normal turmoil after a midterm where people try to figure out what comes next. But let me start with the Department of Justice. You know, I think the acting Attorney General, there is a process in place for people to recuse. Attorney General Sessions followed it properly so. For the Democrats to say that the acting Attorney General needs to recuse without even considering what the proper process is against the norms. They want him to recuse because they don't like Donald Trump. He has no reason to recuse unless the ethics experts at Justice say he should, and I see no reason for him to recuse. I put this all as just as part of the normal Trump delirium, where anything that Donald Trump does, the Democrats oppose, and he may have opined, given his opinions as a pundit, about the Mueller probe, but that doesn't mean he will take action as the Attorney General. And I've long defended Bob Mueller, and I will do so again today. I hope no action is taken against Bob Mueller. He should be allowed to finish his report.
I'm sure you saw the press conference yesterday, that the exchange that's getting a lot of attention. We asked Kellyanne Conway about that last hour. She was with us and said the following about reporters at the White House and the job they're trying to do. And you, as a former White House press secretary, you're very keen on this topic, so I'll get you to react after we hear from Kellyanne. Watch.
There are journalists here at the White House and the White House Press Corps who every single day try to do their job by getting the story. Others try to get the president. They shall remain nameless right now. I think that some people like to grandstand and be part of the story. There's no question about that. We hear that from other journalists.
It went on from there, but what is your feeling on this as you watched it?
Well, two things. Number one, there was no physical contact that was anything bothersome. You know, that was incidental contact, and I think that was a false reason for pulling his pass. But second, Jim Acosta has had a long history of being an editorial writer in that room, not a fair or neutral questioner. Tough questions, challenging questions are the job of White House reporters. But when he starts giving his opinion and using that podium as the place to do it, it's wrong. And that's why the White House did this. And I support that. I cannot defend Jim Acosta. When he says to the President of the United States in the middle of a news conference, it's not an invasion. That's his opinion. And if he wants to be an editorial writer, more power to him. If he wants to be a columnist or have a nighttime TV show to give his opinion, more power to him. But that is not the job of White House reporters. And I think the White House finally got fed up with him using his perch at the White House to give personal opinions.
Yeah, well, both have put out their reaction to that. CNN, the White House put out this statement: revoking access to the White House complex is a reaction out of line to the purported offense and is unacceptable. I'm sorry, so this is the White House Correspondents Association. Journalists may use a range of approaches to carry out their jobs, and the WHCA does not police the tone or frequency of those questions. Its members ask of powerful senior government officials, including the president. Such interactions, however uncomfortable they may appear to be, help define the strength of our national institutions. You know, before all this, looking at, broadly speaking, at the president's news conference yesterday, he spoke a lot about the candidates who did not embrace him. And he really went out there to say, look what happened, Ari.
I thought that was unwise by the president. You know, what the president needs to recognize is not all of America is Trump country. And there are a lot of good congressmen and women who come from suburban areas, my parts of New York, for example, where it's harder to just toe the Trump line. And so you have congressmen who want to be supportive wherever they can, but there are instances where they can't. And for the president to go slap them the way he sometimes has, it's not how you build a broad coalition. It's how you keep a narrow base. And what Republicans need to do, and what the president needs to do, especially going into a presidential year, is grow the support, not just maintain it. And that's the case with a lot of these suburban congressmen and women who did lose. And I wish the president was more helpful to them, accommodating to them, and didn't target them.
Well, we have 2 years to talk about this, and we shall again, okay? Ari, thank you for coming in today. Ari Fleischer, thank you, sir.